Hey friends, this is Jeremy. Tonight, Ashley and Jordyn are going to present the song Another in the Fire. This song has this common running theme through it that we are never alone. That no matter what challenge we're facing, that we never have to do it alone. God promises His Spirit to us as a comforter during our time of trouble. And because of our relationship with the Lord, we have the ability to go before Him. We have the ability to cry out to Him and call out to Him in our times of struggle. And we know that we have somebody that will listen and somebody that understands the situation that we're in. And we always know that we are not alone no matter how difficult the situation is. So I challenge you tonight as you focus on this song to really feel that sense of peace that comes with knowing that you're never alone.
I'll count the joy come every battle, 'cause I the joy come every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. I count the joy come every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be.
Friends, this is Sarah, and today I will be bringing you Church from the Couch. Alright, so our passage today is in 1 Samuel chapter 1, verses 1 to 20. And let me tell you about what happens in this passage. Alright, so there's this man named Elkanah, and he's got two wives. One is Peninnah, and Peninnah has multiple children. And he has this other wife who he favors more, Hannah. Okay, but Hannah doesn't have any children. She's barren, and she's really sad about it, right? So she joins Elkanah on his pilgrimage to the tabernacle in Shiloh, and this is a yearly thing for them, for the religious folk of the time. They would go to the tabernacle and worship and bring sacrifices to God, right? So Hannah joins Elkanah, and she is pouring out her heart and soul to God, and is requesting to God for a son, because she's barren, and she's really sad about that, right? Okay, so she is pouring her heart and soul in the temple, and the prophet Eli sees her and thinks that she's drunk. And she has to go in and clarify and say, no, I'm just, like getting authentic, and being authentic and being my full self, disclosing my deepest requests to God, right? And he says, in return, go in peace. I hear your request, and may God grant you your request. May God grant you the son. And then she goes about her life in the hope that this request will be fulfilled by God, and in turn receives a son named Samuel, which she named Samuel because the Lord heard her cry and her soul. And her request, right? Okay, so what I love about Hannah in this passage is that she is confident in who she's talking to. She knows the God of gods that she's talking to. And Ryan Paulson today talks about how she's the first person in the Bible to address God as the Lord of heaven's armies, not just the Lord of man, not just the Lord above other lords, like the Lord above everything, on the earth and above the earth. And I love that about her, because she's confident and she knows with whom she's speaking to and with whom she's requesting a son of. And because of that, I'm sure God really looks up to her, or, likes that, right? Okay, so moving on, let us see. Right, and back then, if you were a woman and didn't have children, people looked down on you, and it was as if you failed as your identity, as your role as a woman. So her womanhood is in question, and her identity is in question, and instead of harboring contempt for God, she's harboring hope that God is willing and able to give her a son and to fulfill her requests, which is some radical faith right there, which is awesome. That's something that we can learn from, knowing that God is capable of fulfilling our desires as long as they bring him glory. And what I love about this passage is that this request, this relationship that she has, isn't just involving her and God. Eli steps in, and Elkanah is in the picture. And what I love is that oftentimes when we petition, when people petition generally, I know that this has been going on for a while, especially in this season, lots of petitions. And when people petition, they try to get as many people involved as possible, right? And in the same way, the more people you get involved, the more, glory you get. And in this situation, the more people are involved, the more glory that goes to God. And in Matthew 18:20, it says, when two or more are gathered in my name, I am with them. And here, her request to God brings glory to herself, to Elkanah, to Eli, and to ultimately, all of the Israelites. And so, because she's petitioning with radical faith and radical confidence and is inviting people into this, more and more glory goes to the Lord. also what I love is that her attitude completely changes in verse 18. After she is, super sad about being barren, and she is just overwhelmed in anguish and grief, once Eli tells her, "Go in peace, may God grant your request," it says in verse 18, then she went about, her ways. She began to eat, and she was no longer downcast. And that shows that she has hope and peace in the fulfillment, the future fulfillment of her request. And I love that she is able to continue to cling on to hope in God's request. And so I think the one thing I want us to come out remembering from this passage is, the petition for the glory of God. And with her, she says, if God grants my request, I will give back my son, and I will give him to the Lord, and he will become a Nazirite, and he will be set apart for the glory of God. And so some of us might be thinking, oh, that's great for Hannah, she got a son. What about my requests? God, why don't you fulfill my desires? And I think one thing that we need to remember is that we should be making our petitions and our supplication for the glory of God. And so instead of the things that we ask for being for our glory, may they be for the glory of God. And if they are for the glory of God, I think God is going to request or answer that request. So may we be people that invite each other into our petitions and our requests for God, so that we can be sharing in God's glory together, and may we be striving to multiply God's glory.
There was another in the fire.